A lot of international goods today are shipped from China to the United States. Wouldn't be uncommon for them to begin somewhere along the Beijing Hangzhou Canal, so-called Grand Canal of China. And anything going from Hangzhou would probably get through to Shanghai. And from Shanghai, it's got to get to the United States. If it wants to get to the east coast of the United States, the quickest way is through Panama and the Panama Canal, and from there up to an eastern port such as Savannah. That's where we're going to head, and we're going to see that the distance to get through Panama is much faster than if you were to go all the way around South America. Let's begin in China.
So here I am at the Grand Canal in China from Beijing to Hangzhou, and I thought I would be here in order to tell. There's a boat going through, heading north on the Beijing-Hangzhou Canal. This section is only about 1,000 years old, so it's some of the newest canal sections. But this is the part that united the north of China to the south. Unbelievable when you understand what a canal can do. It can unify people, but it can also get goods to market. So you started building a unified China when you built a canal. And of course, the biggest thing that they did transport back in the old days was grain. Why? Because the armies upriver, downriver, up canal wouldn't have to forage for their food supplies. So you could back it up with reserves, shipped in quickly and easily. That really is one of the things that led to China being such a great commercial center back in the old days. The canal system here. It's over 1,100 kilometers long, I believe. Of course, it was built in sections. The earliest part, 2,700 years ago. The newer stuff is only 1,000 years old. Just getting a little view of Shanghai. More shipping going on in Shanghai. Talking about economic growth and development. Here we are at the Panama Canal. They had to extend the Panama Canal, made it bigger in 2016. It's kind of noisy here. I'm at the Pedro Miguel locks, and so what I'm going to do is move to down to the another part of the canal, and I'll give the rest of the lecture there. But you can see the boats and the disc being pushed through the canal, open 24/7, 365. Anyway, I'll finish the lecture elsewhere. I got to tell you. Here I am in Panama, and that, you can see those boats in the background. Where we are is at the entrance to the Panama Canal. You can perhaps see, I know it's kind of sunny, but you can see the Bridge of the Americas just crossing over there. That's at the entrance to the canal. And it is a hot day. You might hear some thunderstorms going on in the background. But I came all this way. I'm giving my lecture about the Panama Canal. But one of the biggest shipping, unbelievable. Some people call it one of the 7 wonders of the New World, or of the modern world, however you want to think of that. So what we had here, great idea. In the 1500s, they realized that would have been worthwhile. Probably would have saved them 5 months going around the tip of South America. So big deal. Now, only saves about 14 days. But 14 days in terms of shipping is huge. Typical China to the west coast of the U.S. might be about 12 days, and then you put it on rail to the east coast, another 6 days, so that's 18 days. However, you can do, I forget if it's 12 or so, quite 16 containers, I think. 16 trains can go onto one ship. Something like that. So it's a huge difference. So if you can go by shipping, you can go through the Panama Canal, and you can get to the east coast of the U.S. in a much faster time with much more product. Big savings. Somebody was calculating out it's maybe $2 million a day to run some of these big ships. So what they did here in terms of economic growth and development, now the Panama Canal was built from 1904 to 1914. In case you don't know, the French actually started it in the 1880s, failed. Lots of death, misery, yellow fever, malaria, all those kinds of things. I did get a hepatitis A shot before going on this vacation. Anyway, so the French failed. They turned it over to the Americans. The Americans, in 10 years' time, built the canal. There's a lake, an artificial lake in between. There's actually a series of 3 locks, and you have to go through those to get there. And they had like they had 3 channels through, but now I think they've added that. They've got now 5 to go through. What they did in 2016, they added on to the canal first big major renovations, because they needed these bigger boats, these deeper boats to get through here. So we're talking, instead of 950, they sink a little deeper into the water, and so you needed a bigger canal to get these things through. They hold 2 to 3 times the size of the old ships, the biggest ones. So you don't think about the Panama Canal very often, but when you buy all those imported goods from China, they got to get to the east coast of the U.S. somehow, and chances are they came through the Panama Canal. And by that huge expansion that they did in 2016, chances are they're getting there cheaper, or at least the price hasn't risen one way or the other. So the alternative, going around South America, 14 extra days. So they've eliminated that. Of course, the major ports in the world are European ports, Asian ports like China, and the 2 sides of the Americas, that is the east coast of the U.S. and the west coast of the U.S. So anytime you can cut shipping between those major things, you're talking about huge savings. So that's the goal here. So there's the Bridge of the Americas here at the opening of the Grand Canal, the Panama Canal.
Savannah. I missed this big boat here. I saw it from a distance, but I didn't get the chance to really videotape that. So as we look over here, we see the tugboat heading toward another big ship. Coming up the river.